Welcome to Sekou Style, enlightening and empowering one video at a time. So today's video is gonna be about an interesting topic. And this topic, I know when I say interesting, it's gonna be interesting. So stay tuned to check it out. The topic is what? Are you ready for it? It's none other but the African tax, or some people would call it the black tax. Some people would call it the African burden or the black burden. So today we're gonna try to talk about it and see what this African tax or the black tax is, right? Or is it, should we call it a tax? Should we call it a responsibility? Let's talk about it, right? Because if we don't talk about it, we won't know about it and we can't move our society forward in ignorance. So we gotta enlighten each other and we have to enlighten it, and also we have to entertain with these videos, man. Are you ready? Let's get into it. So what is the African tax or the black tax? What is it, right? Should we call it responsibility? Should we call it a duty that you must do something? Or should we call it just dependency? What is it? Now, today I would like to say, after looking around the internet or surfing around, listening to other people's opinion on this matter, it really boils down to few things. The African tax or the black tax, it boils down to this. It is a duty to pay back or pay forward to your family and your community. That's really what it is. So, and also it is your responsibility. Some people will even say we shouldn't put this notion of tax on it, because when you say tax, that connotation is a little bit bad or it comes out negative. But like every good thing, there's a pro and there's a con to it. So meaning there's a positive and there's a negative to this concept of, taking responsibility for your family, taking responsibility to help out your family. Because in notion, in definition, it is a duty to pay back to your family. Like, to say, I have been here, thanks to you guys managed to help me to get to this level, so it is my time to pay back. Or I'm gonna help other family members to get to this level, right? In theory, it sounds really good. It's not bad, let's admit it. It shouldn't be a burden. It shouldn't be a tax. But let's see how it become a tax, because we have to, look at the pro and the con, the positive and negative. So what are some of the positive? I'm gonna start with the good things. What is the good things about this African tax or the black tax, right? The positives here are, few. Some of the positive being, or the most important positive out of this whole concept is like, to help other people, to help other family members, giving back to community, giving back to society. So for instance, let's say, you are in a diaspora or you are back home in Africa, you're doing extremely well for yourself. It is only necessary that you give back to your family or to the people who help you to get there. Now, giving back is not a bad thing within itself. It's really not, when you become wealthy, it's normal that you give back to society. And that's something that is encouraged within this concept, where you give back to the people who you care for, society at large. You manage, you try your best to help people who are in need, right? So this African burden or the African tax or the black tax, then it becomes a good thing, in the sense that you're helping to give back. You're paying forward. For instance, you'll be in charge of like helping one of your brothers or sisters or your cousins, your nephews to go to school. You take care of their school fees, you take care of their basic needs, to make sure that they becomes independent where they could, you know, pursue their own careers and try to help other people. So you're like one help the others to move forward. So you guys are helping each other. And that's the best thing about this African tax. But there's also the negative parts, and the negatives are the one that really bring this negative connotation to the African tax or the black tax. Now, what are the negative? The negative are, you know, it kind of creates dependency because now it's like people are dependent on you for their daily bread. So it's not encouraging. Sometimes it tends not to encourage, you know, self-reliance, independence, where people go hustle on their own, not rely on anybody, like just really, you know, when they get little opportunity, they take advantage of, they push themselves forward and just make it in life. They start depending on that uncle, that brother, that cousin who has been giving them little thing here and there, and they don't even learn how to fish for themselves, but then they just depend on someone giving them the fish. So that dependency is created because you're trying to do good, you're trying to pay forward, or you're trying to pay back to the family. Now you have a lot of family members depending on you. And what happens? They end up dragging you down because, I mean, you have so much to carry. Those are the, I mean, that leads to the stuff. You start feeding other people while you end up forgetting yourself. And you get into a problem where now you were in charge of helping too many brothers, cousins, uncle, auntie, all the other people, and you forget your own family, you forget about yourself, your well-being as a person. So I found this very interesting video about this concept, especially to the diaspora, you know, Africans who are in the diaspora, right? I really want for you to just take a look at this video, like just watch it for a minute.
You guys already know Natu will not concern me now. I have to put my mouth there. Let me be straight up with my hardworking brothers and sisters, business people, those in the civil service, especially those who are abroad. You know, I know in your minds, if you take out some time to limit family support, take out some time to think about your own self, invest in 1 or 2 businesses for the sake of yourself and your kids, you know, save more. I know in your minds, we are family members and family people and village people who look up to you. We are going to die of hunger. You know, we will not have money for anything again in life. You know, house rent, we will not have money. Our kids will not go to school. I know that's what's in your mind. And you have even gone as far as taking 7 to 10 jobs just because you want to be able to take care of us. I just say, let me remind you of 4 important things before you kill yourself for us. Point number 1. Those people you are killing yourself, you think if you don't send them money, they will not survive. If you see the way we are eating back home, we are even living better than you. Point number 2. Those 7 to 10 jobs you are working because you want to take care of people back home. If you have a health breakdown and you die today, we will still survive. In fact, we will bury you. If you see the quantity of food that will be at your funeral. Point number 3. Those of us who are in the association of lazy people within the family, no matter what you do, we will still call you stingy. We will celebrate you for sending house rent and call you stingy for not giving us business capital. Point number 4, and the most important, you have been abroad for 15 years, nothing to show for it, 0 savings. Everything you work, you send back home to take care of us. You are in the civil service for 30 years, nothing to show for it. You are taking care of your brother's student, your sister's student, in fact, right to your cousin's student. You are taking care of them. You are hoping that they will come and take care of yours. They will support you after you go on retirement. Well, let me tell you something. Those of you who are abroad, the day you will step foot back home empty-handed, those of us you have been taking care of, we will laugh at you. In fact, we will be the first people to say that you went abroad for 15 years, all you knew was to play life. Those of us, your sister's children, that you are supporting, and you're thinking that we will support you. When you will come, we will have built houses, and then you will be left with nothing, not even a house to live, not even a bicycle. Then you will understand that it is good to take care of people in life, but it's also good to think about yourself. I've told you, I don't go.
Okay, now that you're watching this video, You're seeing what this guy is saying. I mean, it's funny as hell, but let's forget the comedy aspect of it. Let's get serious a bit. He's making some valuable points. He made 4 valuable points there. And these are like, that's not me saying it. And this is what people actually back home. And we have people in the diaspora here in America and other countries killing themselves, literally, with jobs, trying to do everything so they could fulfill their part of the burden, the bagging of this African tax. Like, you know, oh, my uncle, my this, my that, everybody depending on me. I'm here, I have to work hard. You're living like a slave in the West to feed people who are actually enjoying themselves like kings and queens, while they're pretending that they're sick. You know, viewers, you ever received that call from someone in Africa? They're always sick, they need medication, they always need that school fee from you, without even thinking about how you're feeling, how you're doing, what's going on with you and your family. They always want that $300, that $200, that $100. Do you have that family member whom no matter how much you send to them, it's never enough? They will look at you like, oh, other people are doing better for their family members. You are just there sending me this pocket change. You could do better. Do you have that person? I know a lot of families have at least 1 or 2 of those people, right? So this is where the African task notion comes in, right? That black burden. I was just literally just a black burden, because it's not only an African phenomenon, it's like a black community phenomenon, right? And it starts draining you, because you cannot move forward. You have all these people hanging on you. Instead of you focusing on your family, creating wealth, you start focusing on what? Trying to feed everybody where you cannot feed everybody. You try to make everybody happy, but nobody's happy. And you end up being the victim, thinking that you're trying to save people because you don't want for them to say bad things about you. You don't want to be real to yourself that you cannot afford it, right? Now, you know, how can we manage this? Because, you know, some people say we could stop it. I don't believe in it. I don't believe that we could stop it. You know, there's an African saying that it takes a village to raise a child. I'm a firm believer of that. Meaning that we are communion people. We work together as a community to push each other up. And this notion of African tax or black tax is really about you giving back, you know, you contributing your fair share to society, to the people, to your family, especially your immediate family. So, you know, we always have to give back. We have to be part of that. So we cannot stop it, but we can manage it. Now, these are some of the ways that I believe that when we start looking at it, how we can manage it so that it won't become a burden. It will be a responsibility, but not a burden. Because there's a difference between a responsibility and a burden. When it becomes a burden, then it's dragging you down. Yes, you have a responsibility to make you stronger, so it's like you could be able to like help out when it's necessary and how, you know, with the strength that you have. But when it becomes a burden, it actually sucks you in and you cannot really contribute as much because you're already being drained through all these unnecessary burden that you're putting on top yourself, and you end up damaging your future by not focusing on your children and moving forward. So how can we manage this, right? It is manageable. It cannot be stopped. I don't believe in stopping it. I think it could be managed. Now, how can you manage this, right? You can manage it by, you know, setting realistic budget goals for yourself, your family, and your society. Hey, let's say you're getting $300 a week. Out of this $300, I am not gonna spend more than, you know, you put a budget that how much you will spend towards other extra expenses like family, other extra family. I mean, when I say family, I'm talking about extra, the cousins, the auntie, the uncles, the, you know, the long distance, the short distance, but you know, how much you'll be able to spend towards them. So you have a budget, you organize yourself. This is how much I have. Now you have your mom and dad, whom are like solely your responsibility plus your family, your other siblings' responsibility if necessary. If you're in a position to actually do it, you should take their charge if you can. And you have to be able to work. Number two, you have to be able to work with your siblings or your other family members to be able to cater to your mother and your father, or your immediate parents, people who really took care of you. You cannot put those people on the side, but you could work as a team. Instead of your brother sending this amount, your sister sending this amount, everybody work as a community to help those people who are actually in need. And that's really one key thing. A lot of Africans, we put a lot of burden on ourselves, family members, and these guys back home, they play that trick. They will call this other uncle in, let's say, Virginia, this other person in New York, this other person here to come and get all the money. So one person sitting down somewhere in West Africa or somewhere in South Africa, East Africa, collecting money from all family members without even going to work. This guy is making at least $500 a month through collecting from different family members, because we are not communicating and putting aside a budget as a unit to solve help other people who are actually in need. So people will take advantage of that and start communicating and calling and bring. So what I'm trying to say is right now, if you want to manage it, you guys come together in the diaspora, or those who could actually afford, start coming together and form a unit and start saying, okay, these family members need help. We have to put this amount, let's say $10 a month, towards helping these people. So it's like, it's not put on one individual or one family, it's put on everybody. We are all helping here to help our collective good, right? Unity. Unity is one of the key words, because when you guys come together as a union, other people who are trying to like beat the system and try to get money for everybody, they start saying, okay, you guys are coming on this united front to get and give back those who have it. So that's one of the key ways, really. You have to unite and be able to put your little contributions together and distribute it fairly among those who actually need it. Not the lazy ones who are just sitting there waiting for you guys to give. Because some people, again, the lazy one will be lazy. They're not gonna appreciate you. They even feel like you have to give them more. They feel entitled to what you are earning. And that's the bad thing that you could try to like encourage. You shouldn't encourage, you should cut it up. You guys come in here as a group and be helping individual who actually needs the help. You have to try to break down the circle. Number three, everybody, we have to work on mechanism or ways how to break down the circle of poverty, the circle of dependency. This circle cannot be broken down with the same notion of, you have to, like, you feel obliged to help an individual, you feel pushed to do, how to call it? You feel pushed to like contribute towards certain people who actually don't need it. And you feel pushed to put your family at last while you're putting other people's family first. That shouldn't be the case. Your family should always be first. So that circle needs to be broken down by focusing on your internal family, making sure it's good to help, but you can't help someone. It's like you go to a river, like you're swimming. You see someone who is drowning in the sea, and you're trying to go help them. If you're not careful, the person hang on you, and you guys go down in the sea together. So you have to be careful when you're helping those who are down. So what I'm trying to say is, those who are already drowning, to help them, you have to be in better position to help them without killing yourself in the process. Because a dead man makes no move. That's what Biggie said, right? All right, cool. So you cannot afford to like kill yourself in the process. So please put your stuff together, put your family together, have a management plan in place before you move forward. Again, you have to create means to generate like generational wealth. And that cannot be done by focusing on others. That has to be done by focusing on you, your immediate family, your mom and dad, your immediate family. those who could come together and be able to empower each other to move forward. You can't be in America trying to kill yourself for those who are back home if they're not really like, even if someone need help extremely, you can't kill yourself because you cannot give someone what you don't have. And in order for you to have something, you have to be willing to, you have to be in the mindset, you have to be in that focus to get what you really need to be able to help. So it really boils down to you being able to focus on you, being able to focus on your family first, being able to create that community of like minds, people who actually have what it takes and have the means willing to contribute. You guys contribute together collectively and be helping those who actually need the help. So like that, yes, the black tax or the African tax is still continuous in a way, but it continues in a healthier way. It's like you're managing it like, yes, I have certain amount of money. Let's say I'm making $5,000 or $3,000 a month. Hey, I'm on, like, after all my expense, I could still save up to, let's say, $1,000 a month. Now, other than $1,000, it won't hurt if you could take maybe up to $100 to put on the side to say, okay, in case of all these other, you know, family, other issues that I will be able to help. And then imagine you putting 100, another person similar in your situation putting 100, 200, 300 people, you guys come together as a unit having that money to be able to use on the family who are actually in need. Not those who are just there to live on people as scavengers or like, I mean, I don't want to call names, but like those who are just there to live on people and they don't want to appreciate the effort. They're trying to like use the crap mentality to throw you down in the process of why you are trying to help them. You have to be careful of that. A lot of people come for help that they don't need help. They know that they could survive without you. And actually, if you try to go help them, you might end up drowning in the process. So you gotta be very careful. That's where the African tax or the black tax, or some people call it the black burden, comes in. Don't let the black burden or the African tax be your downfall. Try to manage it. I'm not telling people not to be responsible, and then being responsible means take care of your mom, your dad, your immediate family. Definitely have to take care of them. You do your best. And even for your immediate family, you are just doing your best. You know, don't kill yourself. Take your time, figure things out, and help those who actually need your help. Don't try to follow every means like I have to help everybody. If you don't have the means, you don't have to. Everything comes from within your heart. A lot of guys are working 3, 4, 5 jobs, many hours. What to show for? Nothing. You can't be that person. You can't let the African tax system overtake you. You have to be able to understand the system and work within the system and improve the system for everybody else, the next generation. We cannot solve all our problems, but we can start fixing the problems now. And the way to fix this other problem is really being able to focus on you and your immediate family first, being able to, you know, generate wealth that would be able to impact a lot more people in a better way, being able to create networks of people who could be able to come together and, you know, raise capital and be able to invest back into our society. So that being said, hey, if you're new to this channel, make sure you subscribe. Guys, please like mine. You know, I know this video is a little bit long. Like the video, comment. Definitely we are back in full gear. So nice talking to you again. Hey, see you back soon.